guys, welcome back to my channel, and as indicated by the title of the video, today I'm going to talk to you about the prequel to the Hunger Games, that is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But before that, I would like to talk to you about the Hunger Games as well. I read this book during Amphan, that is the Super-Cyclone which hit India, the east coast of India, and my city got affected very badly. So what happened is we didn't have electricity, water, food, network, anything for like 7 days, and still now a lot of districts don't have. So I took those 7 days time and I read the entire quartet. So today I'm going to talk to you about all of them. I would like to tell you that the first book was read by me, I think, when I like class 9 ending and class 10 starting, because it was recommended to me by this really good friend of mine back then. I don't know what happened, what he's doing right now, but he recommended this to me. Thank you so much for recommending it, if you're watching this video at all. So he had recommended this and I read this from the school library, and back then I gave it a 5 stars. But now my reading tastes have changed. There were a lot of developments which happened when I read the second and the third book, and the first book was a reread and also the prequel. So we'll get to all of that. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first book that I has is the first book that this was Mockingjay, sorry. So the first book that I have is The Hunger Games of Suzanne Collins. So if you don't know what the Hunger Games is about, it's now that North America is now a country called Panem, and Panem is divided into 13 districts and one capital. The 13th district is destroyed by the nuclear bombs and does not exist anymore. The district 1 to 12 are ruled by this place called capital, and for showing that the capital is all powerful and the districts are basically worthless, useless and powerless, the capital engages in something called the Hunger Games, which is like extinction trials. So what they happen to do is they select 2 tributes from each district, that is from 2 tributes, 1 girl, 1 boy, 12 up and onwards, who are sent into this arena, and they have to fight for their lives, and one becomes a victor. So in this book we follow Katniss Everdeen, who volunteers in place of her tiny sister Primrose and goes to this arena, and the first book is all about her being a victor and her forming a relationship with her other victor called Peeta Malark of District 12. So the first book is of that. I gave this a 4 stars because that was what I felt the book should receive. Next book is Catching Fire. This is the anniversary edition and it's very shiny, you can see, and it has this Mockingjay on top. Well, this is my favorite book of the entire quartet, including the prequel, so I'm calling it a quartet. I like this second book so much because the arena in the second book is very fascinating, and there are a lot of characters which come into the book, and the characters have developments unlike the first book. There are a lot of things which happen very fast. Some people say that Catching Fire is not so good, but I liked this book much more than any of the other 3 books. So I gave this a 5 stars because characters like Finnick Odair and Joanna and stuff like that have come to life in this book, whom I really cherish. And the last book is Mockingjay. This will be a very unpopular opinion, but I gave this book a 2 stars because I hated this book so very much. I wanted to give it a 1, but then I gave it a 2. This is one of my disappointing reads of 2020. So many people liked the ending and told me that this book is amazing and stuff like that. Maybe my expectations was really high, but still I expected so much more from this one because despite the fact that the book ended, there were a lot of characters which I don't even know what the hell happened to them. So if I don't know what the hell happened to them, how is the book complete? So and the prequel was not even announced until recently. So if this book I think was first published in, like, it was published in 2010. So if it is first published in 2010, and then after 10 years I'm not supposed to know whether a prequel is going to come. So this was pretty incomplete for me, and the developments in this book, the love triangle in this book was so so I did not like it at all. And I was always on Team Peeta, so I didn't really care for Gale anyway. So there goes the review of the third book. And finally, I would like to talk to you about the chief guest of this video, that is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This book is really, really pretty. Just look at it. It's so pretty. Just look at this gold emboss and stuff. So this book is basically a villain story. So here we follow President Snow, who we follow also in the 3 books of the Hunger Games, and he's the one who was arranging and stuff in the 3 books. So here we follow his life from a teenage boy into adulthood. There are a lot of issues in this book. Firstly, we follow the book starts with the 10th Hunger Games, and he is one of the mentors. It's the first time students are assigned as mentors to specific tributes, and he is assigned a tribute from District 12 itself, whose name is Lucy Gray Baird. He falls in love with her. Great teenage love. And that for that love, he does a lot of things that he's not supposed to, and then he ends up as a peacekeeper. All that is fine, but I'll show you something that is like hilarious. The part 3 is named as the peacekeeper. So if I'm already reading and in the contents that part 3 is peacekeeper, I already know what the plot is about. The plot is damn right predictable. I predicted everything in the book and I was right about it. So I was astonished because it was so predictable and so easy that it didn't make sense at all. And the ending is just another Mockingjay to me, because the ending is disastrous. I gave this a 2. Only and only because the relationship, the romance was a little nice and the arena was a little nice. Lucy Gray Baird as a character was really lovable. But sometimes what I understood was the title is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and when you read it, you will understand that Suzanne Collins was continuously repeating things just to justify the title, which makes no sense. Even if you write a single statement which is amazing, then that justifies the title, that is enough. You don't need to continuously say the fact. There are so many things about President Snow which were revealed in Mockingjay. For example, this is a spoiler if you haven't read it, that he poisoned people in order to become the president. And in Catching Fire, we see Katniss telling the readers that President Snow is like a snake. There was nothing in this book which actually spoke to me on those levels. It was so superficial and shallow that I regret spending $600 on this. And I really don't recommend this book at all. This was a total disaster for me. I expected so much more from the book, and I really thought this would be a great read. I read this as a buddy read with Confessions After Reading Freaks. I will link their page down below in case you guys want to check out, but this book was a total disaster. So that's my review for the entire Hunger Games quartet. I'm saying a quartet because the 4th book has come out. So in case you guys want to check out my Instagram, Facebook, blog, Goodreads and Twitter pages, I will link them down below. And do let me know about your thoughts about the Hunger Games series. I haven't seen the movies, but I do expect them to see now that I have read all of the books, and I sincerely think the movies must be so much better because some of my favorite actors are there. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe, stay indoors. Bye bye. Have a great day ahead. Mwah.